Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Daughter of Increase. My name is Denise for those of you who are new to the channel or who just happen to stumble across this video, and I am the founder and CEO of Daughter of Increase Ministries, that is DOI Ministries, and here on this channel I help you guys increase in your faith and relationship with God and Christ through Bible studies, book reviews, discussions, and more. And I do that by posting twice a week, every Wednesday and Saturday, and occasionally on Tuesdays. So, as the title says, below, above, wherever you see in this, this is actually going to be a surprise TBR. I was not going to do a TBR because I have not been reading in months. My reading has been horrendous. It probably has taken me about 2.5-3 months to finish a book, which is very unlike me, and so I am pushing myself with this TBR. But before we get into that, y'all can tell there's a difference, and yes, I changed my hair color. It is purple. Yeah, it's not as bright as I would like it to be. I do need to go back for a second run with my hairstylist. She already told me to come back in 2 weeks, and so I'm gonna go back in 2 weeks, probably on a Monday or Tuesday, and she's gonna do a little bit more purple. And yeah, I am loving this. Like, it's giving everything that I wanted it to give, okay? Everything. And I was really nervous about purple because I didn't want something that was more eggplant leaning black, and then I didn't want something that was like too neon because I am a minister within ministry, right? And then I also want to still look you know, professional in a sense, right? And I'm not saying that bright colors are not professional, but for me and how I think of looking professional for myself, it just wasn't going to work. But yeah, this one, it flows. There, like I said, I have to go back and get some things fixed a little. But yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I cannot wait, y'all. This purple, it's giving everything that I wanted it to give. My mom said it's more of a plum color, which is really honestly what I wanted. I wanted like a plum purple that was really nice, and in the light it just is giving. It gives what it needs to give, okay? She's giving. But it will be fixed up a little bit more when I go back, because I think I want to add color to the black so that it fades a little bit more. So yeah, yeah, we're loving it. So we're gonna try not to touch the hair, but yeah, so this is going to be for the Journey Through the Bible Readathon that is created by Katie over at Paperbacks in Ponytails, I think it is. Yeah, Paperback and Ponytails. And I will leave a link so you can just click the cards above to go to her video. But I saw a bunch of people doing this, and I was like, you know what? Let me jump on it because I haven't been reading and I want to push myself. And there are 23 prompts. And I was crazy enough to try to get a book for every prompt. Yeah, so I have a good stack in front of me, and will I get to all of these? Who knows? The day I'm recording this is actually October 7th, so I think you have until the end of the month. I think this is a month-long readathon, and hopefully it is. And yeah, I am going to try to read as many of these as I can because I miss reading. Luckily one of them is technically like a reread for me, since I technically already read it like twice already. We don't talk about that. But yeah, so the first book I have here for you guys is actually the group read, and it is A Voice in the Wind. And this is by Miss Francine Rivers. It's the first book of the Mark of the Lion trilogy. It is biblical fiction, and biblical Christian fiction in a sense. Y'all know how Francine Rivers is, all right? And the thing about this is, I don't know if I'm gonna get to it because I do want to do this as like a book club read for DOI, so I might not read this, but I know that this is the group read for the month, so I may or may not get to it. This book is a little thick. She over 500 pages, but we have that as the group read if you're interested in joining the group read. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it, even though I have it. I don't have on my glasses because if I put my glasses on, you're gonna see the glare from the window. And well, maybe if I hold my head a little like that instead of like straight, because I'm actually recording in front of my window since it's a nice bright day. I didn't want to put on my ring lights, so maybe, I don't know, we'll just take the glasses off. Can I see? Don't ask that question. So right here is the image of the sort of prompt map situation. I don't even know what to call it, but these are the prompts. And typically there are, basically, you pick where you're going, who you're going to meet, what you're going to witness as an event, something that has happened, and then how do you escape. And so I didn't just pick one of each. I pretty much got a book for most of these prompts, so we just gonna go. So with Garden of Eden, it is nature on the cover. For that, I have Blood Secrets, which is by Miss Morgan L. Busse. This is the second book, I think the final book in the Skyworld duology, which I need to read because I read the first book and was enjoying the first book. I did a whole reading blog on it, and so we gotta do it. We gotta do it. And for the nature, I'm going with the clouds. I literally googled if clouds would be considered nature. I consider them nature, but not a lot of people consider certain things nature. So I did Google it, and it is. So we have clouds all over. And this is like a steampunk fantasy novel that kind of left me with my jaw open at the end. If you did not see my reading blog for it, go check it out. But yeah, this is that right here. Blood Secrets. I am so excited. Treasure hunts, zombies, you know, worlds on different like little, I don't even know what you call these things, but they're lands that float in the sky. Okay, post-apocalyptic, where it's giving everything that we love, and I adore Morgan L. Busse's writing. Her writing is so beautiful, and so I'm not gonna read what this is about because it's literally the sequel and the end of the first book, so I don't want to spoil that book for you guys. I really don't. But yeah, I think you definitely should check it out. The first book is called Secrets in the Mist, and so yeah, this would be my fifth book from Miss Morgan L. Busse that I'll be reading, because I did read her Ravenwood Saga trilogy. I have not read the Follows of the World trilogy or her Souls Chronicle duology, but I will be reading those really soon. But we have this. Alright, so the next one is Bethlehem. Bethlehem is house on the cover, and I'm a little crazy because I went with house on the cover plus house in the title, and that's House by Mr. Ted Dekker and Frank Peretti. Y'all know I love me some Ted Dekker. Ted Dekker's writing is amazing, and Frank E. Peretti, I have loved him since I read what is the name of that book? Oh, I can't think of the name of the book. I can't think of the name of the book right now. Why can't I think? I can't think of the name. Oh, This Present Darkness. That's what it is. So ever since I read This Present Darkness, I enjoyed his writing. It's so gripping, so good. And the two of them together, I know is going to be dynamic. And so I have House, which I said I wanted to read in the month of October because it's giving off spooky vibes. And so on it, it says, a mind-bending supernatural thriller from the creators of This Present Darkness and Saint. It says Frank E. Peretti and Ted Dekker, two of the most acclaimed writers of supernatural thrillers, have joined forces for the first time to craft a story unlike any you've ever read. Enter House, where you'll find yourself thrown into a killer's deadly game in which the only way to win is to lose, and the only way out is in. The stakes of the game become clear when a tin can is tossed into the house with rules scrawled on it. Rules that only a madman or worse could have written. Rules that make no sense yet must be followed. 1 game, 7 players, 3 rules. Game ends at dawn. And on the back there actually is a can with the rules on it. And so it says house rules. 1, God came to my house and I killed him. 2, I will kill anyone who comes to my house like I killed God. And 3, give me 1 dead body and I might let rule number 2 slide. You have until dawn. And so I'm here for it. I know it's going to be creepy. I know it's going to be spooky. I know it's going to give me those supernatural vibes. I know it's going to have me thinking quite a lot about certain things, because I find with their writing, they do go a little bit out there sometimes. But even with them going out there, they really make you think about the principles of the Bible and things like that. And like just of common things that should be common sense to most people. So we have House for that. The next one is The Promised Land, book you promised to read. And let me just say I'm behind on my TBR. Like, the book reviews I have to do, I'm really far behind. And I apologize to the authors and the publishing companies. Life has been crazy. If you've been following me, you know. It's been crazy for some time, especially with my reading. It's really been lackluster. It's been terrible. But we have Start Praying by Miss Ray S. I'm not gonna butcher her last name, but there it is. And I got this since a while ago. I did an unboxing and everything and never got a chance to sit down to actually read it. So I want to make sure that that's a priority for this month. So this is definitely one of the books I'm for sure reading this month. It has to happen. But yeah, we have this. And this is a contemporary novel. It follows Ciara, and it's Valentine's Day. She is 33 years old and she's single again for the 6th straight year. She basically goes out and then she finds a pregnant teen waiting at a bus stop during a snowstorm, and she decides to take a risk and give a girl a ride home. So I'm not sure if she's going to adopt a young girl. I'm not sure if she's going to help the young girl raise the baby or whatever, but this just sounds really gripping, really emotional, really thought-provoking, and so I definitely want to give this a go. So we have this for The Promised Land, because this is a book that I promised to read. Next and final place is Jericho, and this is to read a book with noise, and I'm gonna go with If I Run by Miss Terri Blackstock. I have 3 of her books, and I have not read any of them yet, and so I want to start with this. I know a lot of people raved about this, and I know my sis Stephanie really enjoyed it as well, and so I do have If I Run in the second book. I can't remember what the second one is, If I Live or something like that, but I do want to read it. And yeah, this one follows Cassie, or Cassie. She knows the truth, but it won't set her free. So it says that her DNA is all over the crime scene, but there's no use talking to the police. They failed her before, so she has to flee before she's arrested or worse. The truth doesn't matter anymore. But what is the truth? That's the question haunting Dylan Roberts, the war-weary veteran hired to find her. PTSD has marked him damaged goods, but bringing her back can redeem him. Though the crime scene seems to tell the whole story, details of the murder aren't adding up. She doesn't fit the profile of a killer, but are Dylan's skewed perceptions keeping him from being objective? If she isn't guilty, why did she run? Unraveling her past and the evidence that condemns her will take more time than he has, but as Dylan's damaged soul intersects with hers, he is faced with 2 choices: the girl who occupies his every thought as a psychopathic killer, or a selfless hero, and the truth could be the most deadly weapon yet. So we have this. Alright, so moving on, you have the Who Are You Going to Meet? And there are 7 people that you can meet, and I think I have 7 books here. I think I have 7 books, I'm not sure. No, I have 6 because I couldn't find one for the other one. But the first one is Jesus, Food or Drink on the cover. And if I'm looking down, I'm just literally looking at my notes on my tablet, so that's why I'm looking down. But Jesus, which is Food or Drink on the cover. For that, I have Daughter of Cana by Miss Angela Hunt, the first book in the Jerusalem Road series. And I know this is probably going to be a little bit of a stretch, right? But this one talks about the wedding at Cana, right? And so this would be the jar that they put the water in that became wine, because it literally is about that. So it is basically about Thomas and Tasman, twin siblings that are hired to oversee a wedding feast in Cana. And then they are told to fill the pitchers by the gate with water from the cistern, and it just happens to turn into wine. So water into wine, that is what's happening in this book, and so that's why I'm going with this, because this would be the jug that they use to fill up the water. It's a drink. I know I'm stretching it, but it does talk about the wedding, so the wedding includes food and drink, so we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna run with it, and that's that. Okay. So the next one was Joseph, which was book of many colors. I couldn't find a book of many colors. Like, I got so many books, but most of my books are like one color scheme, right? And so that was a little complicated to figure out, so I left that one blank. But the next one was Peter, Water on the cover. And for that, I'm going with The Souls of Lost Lake by Miss Jaime Jo Wright. Y'all, I love this Jaime Jo Wright. I only read one book by her, but I now own all of her books. Every last one of her books, okay? Yeah, this one, it literally is a lake of water right there on the front cover. And so it says, to save the innocent, they must face an insidious evil. Wren Blythe has long enjoyed living in the north woods of Wisconsin, helping her father with ministry at a youth camp. But when a little girl in the area goes missing, an all-out search ensues, reviving the decades-old campfire story of Ava Coons, the murderess who is believed to still roam the forest. Joining the search, Wren stumbles upon the Coons cabin ruins and a sinister mystery she is determined to unearth. In 1930, Ava Coons has spent the last several years carrying the mantle of mystery since the day she emerged from the woods as a 13-year-old girl, splattered with blood, dragging a logger's axe. She has accepted she will never remember what happened to her family, whose bodies were never found, and that the people of Tempter's Creek will always blame her for their violent deaths. And after a member of the town is murdered and another goes missing, rumors spread that Ava's secret is perhaps more malicious than previously imagined. 2 women, separated by time, must confront a wickedness that not only challenges who they are, but also threatens their lives and the lives of those they love. And so I love Jaime's writing because it's always like this gripping mystery with such thought-provoking things that happen, but also always dual timeline with you have these two female characters, or two female protagonists that are separated by time but connected in some shape or form, whether that's through bloodline, whether that's through victims, or whatever the case may be. And so I'm excited for this. The next one is Farrells Daughter, a book with adoption, and we have This Before I Called You Mine by Miss Nicole Deese, and this, I believe, has to do with international adoption. Specifically, I believe it is a Chinese child that is going to be adopted. So yeah, it says it follows Lauren Bailey, who is a romantic at heart, but after decades of matchmaking schemes gone wrong, there's only one match she's committed to now, and that one will make her a mother. Lauren is a dedicated first grade teacher in Idaho, and her love for children has led her to the path of international adoption. And then there is Joshua, who may be a substitute teacher by day, but Lauren finds his passion for creating educational technology as fascinating as his antics. And so I'm sure this is going to be a romance between Joshua and Lauren, as well as them adopting the child, which I believe, again, is from China. I did receive this for review, and I also got a little red bracelet, so I'm pretty sure this does include a Chinese child that is going to be adopted. So we have that. Then you have Daniel, which is animal on the cover. For that, I'm going to go with The Fall of Lucifer by Wendy, Alec. This is book 1 in the Chronicles of Brothers, and I got this book from my good sis Stephanie. And yeah, there's a horse, or Pegasus, or whatever you want to call this. Looks like a horse. I don't think these are Pegasus. There's no wings on them. So yeah, horses and angels, and it's Christian fantasy. It's 3 archangels, 3 brothers, 1 turn renegade. A swelling epic of origins and mysteries, The Fall of Lucifer tells a tale older than the universe itself. Set in opulent palaces and frightening hell worlds, this is a timeless saga of doubt, of demons and angelic warriors, of obsessive love and treason, and of an ancient evil that knows no bounds. And so yeah, I'm excited. I'm pretty sure this is gonna have Michael, is definitely gonna have Lucifer, and I don't know who the other archangel could be, but yeah, it's a Christian fantasy and I want to give it a go. Following that, we have Ruth, which is a love story, and this is another book that I was supposed to read a while ago, and I'm just getting to, and I so apologize to the author, but it's One Transforming Love. It is a story based on a true story, by Erin Ellis Q. And it says, searching for love in all the wrong places, discovering a love she never knew existed, a love that has the ability to transform it all. Aubrey swayed to the music with her eyes closed, arms raised out to the sky, her starfish worship position, and she heard a whisper from within. I am showing you what love is, my daughter. A love you've never seen before, a love you didn't know existed. I am healing your heart from the past and making it whole in my love. And so this is a love story, but not your typical male-female romance, but this is a romance, a love story between a woman and God, right? Learning true, authentic love through God's love. And I'm excited to dive into this. I still have my card in here from the author. I have my bookmarks in here, and so yeah, I'm excited for that. So we have this. Lastly, you have Esther, which is a book of royalty, and I probably will, listen, y'all probably sick of me mentioning this book, but I'm gonna mention this book as many times as I can on this channel just now, and that's In Search of a Prince by Miss Toni Shiloh. Yes, I'm reading it for a 3rd time. I am leading a book club in a planning group that I'm in, and this is the book that I picked for this month. Last month we did Terry Forrest's You Belong With Me. This month we are doing this book, and I just had to do it. This book is everything, okay? It's everything. I had to do it. And then following next month in November, we'll be doing the sequel, which is To Win a Prince, which I already read. And so this is my 3rd time reading this book, and it'll be my 2nd time listening to the audiobook. So I'm super, super excited. I think I'm gonna just listen to the audiobook this month because I've already read it twice, and y'all know, tabs on top of tabs. So yeah, I'm excited to be rereading this again for the 3rd time, and it basically follows Riao, who didn't really know that she was a long lost princess, and her basically beginning to learn about her background, about the people of Oloro-Ile, which is where her grandfather is, and yeah, finding out the secrets that her mom kept to herself. Plus, for her to become a queen of Oloro-Ile, the council has said that she must marry, so she has to find a prince. And it is such the cutest little romance ever. The faith aspects are amazing. I have a dedicated book review for this book coming, as well as one for the sequel, because these books are phenomenal. But I think I did a reading vlog for this. I did do a reading blog, but it was very terrible. It's a reread reading blog, so you can click the ad to go watch that. But we have this for the prompt of Esther. Okay, so now we move on to Witness an Event. And so the first one is Noah's Ark, pair on the cover. And this one, y'all probably gonna laugh, but I made it stretch, okay? I made the pair thing stretch. And for me, for pair on the cover, I'm going with Journey to the Well by Miss Diana Wallace Taylor. I've been wanting to read this for a very long time. It is about the woman at the well, which is in John chapter 4. And this is a book that I've been wanting to read for a very long time, but I heard mixed reviews about it. And so, yeah, pair, y'all see, she got two pair, the same, here we go, a pair. I'm probably stretching it, but it is what it is, okay? Doubles. So that is there for that. And I am excited to dive into it. It says, she went to the well for water. What she found there would change her life forever. Mara is a young girl in love with her childhood friend Jessie. When she is forced to marry an older man, she must abandon her dreams of happiness. At the mercy of men who are often only interested in using her, Mara must fight for survival. Will she ever meet a man who can save her? The story of the Samaritan woman at Jacob's well is one of hope, redemption, and a life change in an instant through a remarkable encounter. Jesus told her everything she'd ever done, but we are left to wonder at the circumstances that led her life on such a tragic path to begin with. Now, with the creative mind of Diana Wallace Taylor, comes the full story of the woman at the well. This well-researched portrayal of a woman's life in the time of Jesus opens a window into a fascinating world. Taylor's rich descriptions of landscape, lifestyles, and rituals mesh easily with the emotional and very personal story of one woman who desperately seeks to rise above the difficult circumstances of her life. So this might have me in my bag. It might have me crying, but that's okay. So we have this. The next one was Tower of Babel, which is a translated book. Honestly, I don't read translated Christian fictions. So for me, I think in Katie's video, she said that you can do one that's like translated to another language. So I know Tessa Afshar has lots of books that are translated. Misu Andrew has lots of books that are translated. However, I have read majority of their books. The only author I think I probably still have to read more of is Misu Andrews. And there are 2 books from her specifically that I have not yet read, but I know are translated. And so I'll pop those covers here. I'll try to read one of these books. I don't know which one, if I even will read the book, but those are 2 options for that, because I know that they are translated in other languages. And so we got that. All right, then following that is The Pyramids, which is slavery, and for that I'm probably stretching this a bit, but I'm gonna go with Miriam's Song by Jill Eileen Smith. And this was a book I've been planning to read since it came out. My tabs are still in there, but yeah, this one basically follows Miriam from the very beginning. Yeah, so from the very beginning of time to the end of time, and obviously the people were enslaved to Pharaoh and his people, the Egyptians, and so I would assume that there is mention of slavery in this book somewhere. So yeah, it says, from the very beginning, Miriam has lived in her younger brother's shadow. Thrust into the role of a protective older sister before Moses was even born, she will grow up into a woman who not only keeps her family's secret, but bears the burden of leading a new nation. In her mind, she knows that she is serving both her God and her people, but in her heart, Miriam yearns for more. She longs to experience the privilege Moses has, to talk with God face to face. But when God finally does speak directly to her, the outcome is not at all what she expects. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see if there is slavery. If not, I'll pick another book. But yeah, I think slavery is supposed to be mentioned in this book. Next is Solomon's Temple, foil on the cover, and I'm going to go with Sarah by Marek Halter. I did read the 3rd book. I think the 3rd book was on Zipporah, which was really good, but also kind of, it was interesting. So this one is Sarah, and as you can see, there is foiling on this cover right here. And it's basically the story of Sarah. Yeah, before she became Sarah, she was Sarai. So Sarah and Abram from her perspective, and it's a short read. So it says, a dazzling new novel about one of the great women of the Old Testament by internationally best-selling author Marek Halter. Sarah's story begins in the cradle of civilization, the Sumerian city-state of Ur, a land of desert heat, towering gardens, and immense wealth. The daughter of a powerful lord, Sarah balks at the marriage her father has planned for her. On her wedding day, she impulsively flees to the vast, empty marshes outside the city walls, where she meets a young man named Abram, son of a tribe of outsiders. Drawn to this exotic stranger, Sarah spends one night with him and reluctantly returns to her father's house. But on her return, she secretly drinks a poisonous potion that will make her barren and thus unfit for marriage. Ooh, okay. All right. Many years later, Abram returns to Ur and discovers that the lost, rebellious girl from the marsh has been transformed into a splendid woman, the high priestess of the goddess Ishtar. Interesting. But Sarah gives up her exalted life to join Abram's tribe and follow the one true God and an invisible deity who speaks only to Abram. So yeah, I honestly didn't expect him to write her as having been a priestess of the goddess Ishtar, because we know back in those times, priestesses, they weren't just priestesses, okay? They was doing things. So I'm interested to see. I don't really know much of Sarah's background, honestly, if they even mention it in the Bible. So I definitely will do my research personally, to learn more about Sarah outside of what, you know, scripture's saying about that time. And we'll see, but we have that. Then you have David and Goliath. It says a book over 400 pages. And I could go with the buddy read, with like the group read, which I said is going to be A Voice in the Wind. But I'm going to go with The Conqueror by Bryan Litfin, and it's Constantine's Empire. It's the first book in that, and I do own the sequel as a ebook. But yeah, it says travel back to one of the most pivotal eras in history, a time when devotion to the pagan gods was fading and the Roman Empire was being conquered by the sign of the cross. So it's AD 309. Rome teeters on the brink of war. Constantine's army is on the move. On the frontier, pagan Germanic barbarian Brandolf Rex joins the Roman army as a spy. Down in Rome, there's a senator's daughter, Juana Flavia, who finds herself embroiled in anti-Christian politics as she works on behalf of the church. So yeah, will Rex and Flavia live to see the empire bow the knee to Christ, or will their part in the story of Constantine's rise meet an untimely, brutal end? So yeah, I kind of like learning about that time when Rome was really heavy and when Christianity tried to come about and to change the lives of people. So I'm excited for this one. This is historical fiction, and like I said, I do have the sequel as a arc. So we have that, and this is over 400 pages. It is ending at 490. Oh sheesh, almost 500 pages. 491. Yeah, 491, y'all. 491. So yeah, we have that. Okay, so moving on, you then have Birth of Jesus, which is stars in the cover or title. I didn't find anything like that on my shelf, or I really didn't look at my bottom shelf. So I'm pretty sure if I look on the bottom, there's something that I can find, or even a devotional. You have Jesus' Resurrection, which is New Christian. And honestly, for that, I can also go with The Conqueror. And also with Journey to the Well, because obviously they become believers. They're probably going to be new believers in here. So that one is settled. Then we have, for Something Has Happened, there are 4 prompts. So the first one is In the Lion's Den, a book with danger. And for that, I'm going to go with The Paris Betrayal by James R. Hannibal. And this one has to do with Ebola. It has to do with a bioweapon. There is obviously some betrayal by a spy that happened, excuse me. So a spy is betrayed and is now trying to be, murdered. There's a group called Leviathan. So, I mean, bioweapons, Ebola, I'm here for all that. I think this is the one that talks about Ebola. There's a book that he wrote that has mention of Ebola, and I think this was the book. So yeah. Sniper attack, ambush, the French SWAT, a company spy, bioweapon, Paris, Leviathan, schoolmaster. Yeah, so we here for all this. So we have this for a book with danger, because obviously that is very dangerous. Then the next books I have are going to be e-arcs, ebook and e-arc. So for Thrown in Jail, which is spiritual warfare, and Thrown into the Fiery Furnace, which is Too Hot to Handle, award winning, I'm gonna go with The Delusion by I think it's Laura Gallagher. I do not own a physical copy of this book yet. I want this book so bad. So I want the whole trilogy so bad, because I heard my sis Stephanie talking about it. But yeah, this one definitely deals with spiritual warfare, because if I'm not mistaken, it's a YA where this young kid sees chains attached to people, and obviously the chains have to do with spiritual things. And then he also sees lights, which also deals with spiritual things. And so I know for a fact this deals with spiritual warfare, but also for the Thrown into the Fire Furnace Too Hot to Handle award winning. This did win the 2018 YA Christie Award, and so that's why I went with this one. So I'm super excited to get into this. I really want to read more books on spiritual warfare, because I really like learning about spiritual warfare, and I feel like a Christian fiction book like that would be awesome to read. I've read Demon, I've read the Screw Tape Letters, I have read This Present Darkness, so I'm loving books like that. I've read Demon by Tosca Lee, so we have that. And then for Be Swallowed by a Fish, which is hard to swallow, a tough topic, this book is going to be The Premonition at Withers Farms. I do have an e-arc of this book, but the actual copy comes out this month, which I already pre-ordered, so that should be coming soon. And so this one deals with miscarriage, not just one but multiple miscarriages. This is, again, obviously it's Jaime Jo Wright, so she writes dual timelines, and so I believe the present day character deals with a lot of miscarriages, and so has dealt, with a lot of miscarriages, which is definitely a tough topic. So we're gonna go with that book there. And then the last prompt is Pray and Jesus Will Save You, Reader's Choice. I left that one blank because I don't really know what I want to read. I have so many options that I can read, so many, but we don't know. And so yeah, that is my TBR for the month. That is quite a lot of books, we have, let's see, 23, so that's 22, 21, just let me just count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17 books. 17 books for the month. It's already October 7th. So I don't really know how we gonna make do with this, but I can already say that I read this book because this book is completed. I've read it multiple times. I'm just gonna listen to the audiobook for it, so this is done. The next book I'm going to read, I don't know. I really don't know. I probably will put these books in a cup and pick like that, or put it like in a wheel. Oh, I might do a spin the wheel type of thing and put it on Instagram. So follow me on Instagram if you want to keep up with the books that I'll be reading from this TBR. But yeah, I'm excited. And again, thank you again to Katie for even making this. Thank you to everyone who did make TBR videos. It prompted me to just want to join in for this readathon. So that is it. If you made it to the end of this video, put this emoji right here so I know that you watched to the end. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.